Hello, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that, like Hawkeye Pierce, frequently switches from maudlin to zany. My name is Cody. Ladies and gentlemen, say, do you like to dash for flags? Well, now you can in board game form with Flag Dash from PieceKeeper Games. In Flag Dash from PieceKeeper Games, 2 to 4 players are essentially going to play a game of capture the flag on a board. Now, you've got different characters, and of course, you've got flags. It's all pretty simple. Let me tell you how it goes. Now, in this game, you have 2 teams. These teams have 3 characters. So if you are playing a 2-player game, you're each going to control 3 characters. If, on the other hand, you're playing a 4-player game, then 2 people on each team are each going to control 1 character, but then they can kind of share the use of another character. They each have a runner, and they're each going to share the use of the defender. Now, how the game works is essentially you program movement. You're trying to get to the other side to get the flag and to bring it back to your side. So you've got a bunch of cards, and these cards are mostly movement cards, move you forward or in a different direction. But you've also got push cards that can kind of move people further away. And critically, you have the flag card. And the flag will let you manipulate the card. If you're right up next to the flag, you can grab the flag. But each character also has little character flags on them of different colors. If you're up next to one of your enemy's characters, you can play a flag card and, of course, steal a flag, one of their character flags. Now, you're trying to get the enemy's flag back to your territory, or you're trying to collect all 3 of the opposing character cards with your 1 character. But it's not that simple. As I say, you're going to play cards. You're going to play 2 cards each round in order to move the characters around. But you do priority tokens. Now, you're going to go ahead and you're going to play these priority tokens, 1 through 7. Now, the lower number goes first, and 1's going to go first, 2 second, 3rd. There may be ties that are result. But essentially, the more powerful numbers are the higher numbers. So you can trade. You can either go sooner, or you can have more to do later. The things you can do are you can, of course, either just play your card, or maybe you can copy a card, or play another card, or maybe you can get a boost action, and a boost action will kind of let you do an extra movement at the end of your turn. So there's different advantages that come with the different tokens that you play. Now, 2, some of the characters also have special abilities. For instance, one of them can set traps for people. One of them can dig tunnels that you can move through. There's all sorts of different little character things that you can play to kind of throw a monkey wrench into your opponent's strategy. So that is essentially the game. You're playing these different tokens that determine your priority. You're activating your cards for movement and for actions. And you're trying to get your opposing team's flag back over to your spot, or you are trying to capture the character flags from one of each of the 3 opposing characters. If you can do that, your team wins Flag Dash. So first of all, a note on the production here of Flag Dash. I got to be honest, it's not great. The board is very small. Rather simple looking. The meeples that are used are kind of, they feel very generic, for lack of a better word. They're wood, and I like that, but they don't look great. I mean, they're not horrible. It's not distracting. At least it wasn't to me. Some of my people I played with, it was, but they don't look good. The game as a whole, it looks okay. It's not something that if you see, you'd say, oh, I want to play that, I want to play that. It's not like that at all. But, of course, the game's the thing, so let's look at gameplay. There's more depth here than you think there's going to be. Because, of course, there's program movement, which is always kind of a double-edged sword. It's not really my favorite mechanic. I've played some games, I enjoy it, but I just generally, programming movement is not my favorite mechanic in games. But of course, you really have to plan and consider what you want to do. But of course, at the same time, you also want to decide, how am I going to, what kind of tokens do I want to play? Because do I want to go sooner and just kind of get my cards done, or do I want to go maybe later, maybe see what's going on? Of course, you can't alter your cards, your action cards, but maybe that can determine maybe how you play some of these other advantages that come with a later activation. So there's a good balance there, and there is some decent choices there. There's some healthy, kind of tough choices of how you're going to play it. So there is a strategy here, and there's part of this game where you're trying to outguess what your opponent's going to do, and that is something I like very, very much. in any game, is games where you kind of have to think, what's the other guy doing? I kind of call it the X-Wing effect, because like in X-Wing, when you're maneuvering, you're thinking, what's the other guy going to do? And this is kind of the same thing. How are they going to move their guys? Are they going for my flag? Are they trying to get close to my character? What are they going to do? And it's cool. It's interesting. One other kind of advantage of this game is it's not a long game. These are fairly quick games. But where this game is shorter and fairly quick and fairly light and engaging, I think it's decent. I think it's a good package for what it is. Now, having said all that, it's not really my cup of tea. The pre-programmed movement mechanics, the production, it's just not something that I'm really super excited about playing again. I didn't hate this game by any means. There's a lot I like in here, but it's just not my cup of tea. So I'm going to say try it before you buy it, because I think, again, there's people that I think will really appeal to, and I think maybe some younger players might play it, might enjoy it. But, in an age where we've got so many great productions out there, it's just hard for me to say, to recommend something that, frankly, as good as it can be, there's just not enough there. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer. And speaking of MASH, when I was a kid, I always thought that the Klingon Star Empire was a bunch of cross-dressing soldiers trying to get a Section 8 because they've had enough of war. I didn't understand Klingons and Klingers.
Somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
Oh man, you need to do that again.